I hope everyone's having a good day. And I wanted to get you some information today in regards to the Paycheck Protection Program. And we're hearing from a number of our doctors who received PPP loans, forgivable loans, and are struggling with some of their staff to get them to return back to the office, back to work, for fears of COVID-19 issues and exposures and things along those lines. What we're seeing is again that complication of how all this plays out, and then ultimately, how is that going to impact the forgivable portion of your PPP loan? The good news is just yesterday, the SBA and the Treasury Department issued a few more questions in their Q&A, or their FAQ, if you will, in regards to the PPP and the forgivable portions. And they're going to be modifying, of course, if you'll remember, add interim final rules that addressed a lot of this stuff early on. But now, as they start to see some of this, come to fruition, they're seeing some of the challenges that many of you all are seeing in your office and others along with you. And so they actually issued an FAQ that specifically deals with this issue. And here's how it goes. Will a borrower's PPP loan forgiveness amount be reduced if the borrower laid off an employee, offered to rehire the same employee, but then the employee declined the offer? So in other words, they're asking what you're seeing, which is, you offer the job back and say, hey, come back into the office. I'm going to pay you under the PPP. Now I've got the funds to be able to do this. The employee says, no, I'm not coming back. I'm worried, or whatever the case might be. Putting you in almost an impossible position. You can't get the loan forgiven. The employee's not coming back. And so you have this quagmire, right? And so they address that specifically. So the question is, are you going to be punished? In other words, is the forgivable amount going to be lowered because that employee refused to return to the office? And their simple answer, short, was no. And basically, they're going to deal with this in the final interim rule. And then they also said that ultimately, they're gonna specify how you can be a part of this exemption. In other words, what you can do. Here are the three things that they identified in the FAQ. One, you have to make the offer in good faith. And so it has to be a good faith offer. It can't just be, by the way, why don't you come back to the office? It needs to be a good faith offer. The offer has to be in writing. So you want to notify them in writing that they should return to the office. And then lastly, is the employee's rejection has to be documented. Now, that doesn't mean you have to get them to sign some piece of paper. That's not it at all. If you have good faith offer that is sent in writing to the employee to have them return to work, and then the employee rejects it, you need to document it. Write a memo to the office that's put into their employment file or into your PP file, or quite candidly, I would put it in both. One in their file and one in your PPP documentation file to make sure all of that's clarified. You just have to document what they told you over the phone, or what they told you in email, or what they did. Now, if they sent back an email, print that out. That's documentation, right? And so document it and make sure it happened. If you don't document it, it didn't happen. So this is the way that they're clarifying it. So one, the offer has to be in good faith. It cannot be a significant reduction in hours. Two, the offer has to be in writing. And then last is that you just document that they refuse to return to work. And at that stage, then you'll be given an exemption. At least that's what the FAQ says. If you want to know exactly how that reads, jump out and read that section. In the article, I cover that exactly. You'll see the updated on 5/4/2020. It walks you through some of the details and also the bullet points of what you need to do. Hopefully this helps you out and gives you some encouragement with your PPP forgiveness. And we'll catch you tomorrow. Hang in there.